Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. And back in April, I did a video of 17 BoardGameArena games that I had played that I was going to give you my brief thoughts on. And I said it would be an ongoing series, and it will. And so today we are back with 17 more BoardGameArena games that I have played that I'll be giving you my thoughts on. Now, to be clear about a few different things, number one, this is specifically around BoardGameArena games that I'm playing outside of my usual stuff that I know, that I enjoy, that I like, that I've covered in the channel or haven't covered in the channel. So you won't see me talking about Trailblazers or any of those kinds of games where I played them a lot and already know them. This is specifically, I choose to dive into a game that looks interesting on BGA. Sometimes in a few cases, I have played these games, but like years ago, and I decided to dive back into it because it's BoardGameArena. But for the most part, these are games that you probably won't see thoughts on these games outside of this video. Like, I probably am not getting these to review or covering them in different ways, although sometimes that does happen. Sometimes it could happen that I will cover a game down the road that I did play on BoardGameArena, although in many of these cases, I don't necessarily feel the need to. I enjoy diving into BoardGameArena. I have a lot of fun, but I also like trying in all the various new games, and that means that you shoot your shot, you try it out, and a whole lot of these games I have no interest in playing ever again. And so we're going to start ranking through these at the very bottom, working our way to the top. I will not be going into how to plays on these. I'll be going into general vibes, thoughts, and opinions on them. Let's go ahead and start off with number 17, which is Zookeepers. I hated this game. I hated it. I could not wait for it to be done. I didn't find that there were any interesting decisions at all. Maybe I'm missing something, but like, this didn't feel like a game so much as like, here's how you take actions in a game. If you said that this was somebody's attempt, and I feel bad because designers can watch this, but like, if you said this is somebody's attempt to show you how game design works, like, oh, we do this and we do that, but not actually meant to do anything other than teach you how game design works, I'd believe that, because I didn't think there were any interesting decisions. It was like, collect resources, trade them in for stuff, but there was no reason or nuance. It was about game flow, not about a game. A 1.5 out of 5. I guess the 1.5 because there's at least a game here. There's something here. It takes a lot to get a 1, but a 1.5 out of 5. Falconry. This is at least better, but I really didn't enjoy this one. It looks like it's in beta too, but I didn't experience bugs. I just didn't like the game. It felt like a tactical card placement game, although I don't know if it's cards or tiles because I only played it on BoardGameArena. But whether it's cards or tiles, it felt like a tactical placement game with no real interest to the actual decision space. So like a 2 out of 5. We have Panda Rei, also gonna be a 2 out of 5. I did not enjoy this. It's basically play cards and take cards for set collection. It felt like Sushi Go if you removed any interesting decisions around how you actually get the cards, because like ultimately it's Sushi Go in the sense that every card scores a little differently, and in theory you could have different cards, and maybe the actual game you do have different card sets or pools. I have no idea, but at least on BGA, the decision space around how to gather those cards felt very, very boring. So 2 out of 5. I don't see a reason why I'd ever pick this over something like Sushi Go. Rats of Wistar. This is where rating wise, I don't know if this should get. I don't know where this is rating wise. I ranked this. I'm realizing now small flaw because I put this list in order of how much I want to play them, and not necessarily based on rating. Because Rats of Wistar is not a 2 out of 5, but the next one might be. I don't know. Rats of Wistar is a little higher. So call this out of order as far as ratings versus desire to play. The difference is something like Panda Rei, as much as I did not like Panda Rei, it would take 2 minutes to play another game, so it's not a big deal. So desire to play, this is being ranked on desire to play. I don't have a desire to play Rats of Wistar again. It's a well-liked game. I didn't like it. Maybe I just didn't get it. Maybe I didn't grok it. I played it twice just in case, but like, I don't know. Nothing about the engine of what's happening in this game really jived with me. It's well-liked. I assume this is a me issue on not fully grokking how it all plays out, but I did the stuff. I even won one of those 2 games, and nonetheless, it did not work for me. It felt overly complicated, not overly rewarding. The engine never felt like it was taking off. And again, this is all with me saying I still won the game, or at least won one of my 2 games. And it's not for me. That's Rats of Wistar. Rating wise, I'd probably come in at a. No, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. My rating scale does include my desire to play in that. And no, it's going to get a 2 out of 5 at the end of the day. After all my whole little lecture about how it was out of order. No, and again, I want to be clear. The difference is, while my rating scale is a 2 out of 5 based on my desire to play, it's not, I don't think it's as bad of a game as some of the others. I just think it didn't land with me. Easy Peasy. This is also going to get a 2 out of 5. Maybe a 2.5. I'll give it a 2.5 to Easy Peasy. Also, I should say, normally my reviews, or normally if I call something a review, I got at least multiple plays in. I don't call it a review if I got a single play. These are getting ratings in many of these cases. In fact, in most of these cases, these games have gotten a single play until you get to the end where I liked them more and wanted to dive into them again. But the first half of this video, there's a handful of games I played twice, but most of these I did play once. But that said, Easy Peasy, giving a 2.5 out of 5. This card playing, I just didn't feel the decision space was interesting as far as when you play your cards. It's like a sequence of order as far as like, do you play your cards to go higher, to lower? When do you reveal your cards? You have certain cards that are kind of hidden and you have to get rid of those too. Maybe I'd enjoy this more. I don't know, but my one play of it, I just felt like it felt fairly straightforward as far as what you're doing, and there didn't seem to be a lot of interesting decisions as to past that. Then we have Tactile. Tactile is also going to get a 2.5 out of here, 2.5 out of 5. This one it's okay. You take actions based on the grid over here. You have these tokens you're trying to move to the opposing sides. You're trying to build up your tableau. The tableau building part was fun. The rest of it, I just felt very procedural. It felt very straightforward. I didn't enjoy the engine of what I was doing. It was fine. Eriantys, this is another 2.5 out of 5. This one probably has a bit more to it. I wonder, this one I could see growing if more plays, but right now it's a 2.5 out of 5. Eriantys basically has you moving around. You're trying to control these various pieces in order to deal with the degree of area control and color control. The overall puzzle has some more interesting decisions going on, I'll say that, but it felt too drawn out for the actual enjoyment of the experience that I had in it. 2.5 out of 5. Perfect words. We moved to 3s over here, so now we move to the 3s, assuming I got these all right in order, we'll see. Perfect words is a 3 out of 5. It's a puzzle game of trying to come up with combinations of words that people have to guess exactly what the word was. I find it too hard. I find backtracking to the perfect degree of accuracy. It just feels like I'd rather play a game like Codenames, Alibis, any of those kinds of experiences. So Clover. Perfect Words just really felt like it was a cool concept. The execution didn't land for me. RainForest. RainForest, another 3 out of 5. This is like, honestly, if you take that Zookeeper game from the very beginning, RainForest feels like Zookeeper if there was an actual game at play. Like if somebody said, hey, we got Zookeeper, this is how game design works, you gather resources, you trade them in for cards, but now we need to make it fun. RainForest feels like someone did that. They took that concept, because it actually is very similar. You gather resources, you take cards, and you put them into your grid, but there's more of a puzzle as far as resource management, there's more of a puzzle as far as card placement, there's some more interesting decisions around. Do you take like, all the things the same color or same species? There's some interesting decisions going on. Also, looks prettier. RainForest genuinely feels like someone took Zookeeper and said, now we have to make it a fun experience. Now, it didn't blow me away. It's still a 3 out of 5, but at least there's a decent fun game here. I think you'll enjoy this one. Like, just will you love it? No idea, but that's RainForest. Solstis, another 3 out of 5. Solstis was fun. Again, more puzzle going on. It's a little bit of a card sequencing as far as trying to place cards to go up the mountain, trying to figure out where you're likely to build pathways based off of not being able to guarantee which cards you're going to have access at any point, but trying to play the odds to a degree. There's some other interesting aspects going on as far as how you score, chinning down the mountain, various abilities. Overall, I enjoyed it. I would happily play it again, but I'm not seeking it out. Then we have Symbiose over here. Another 3 out of 5. I do wonder if this could be a 3.5 if I played it more. It was kind of fun. There was an interesting puzzle element as far as scoring based off of what are on other people's grids and your grids, and being mindful of, well, every card scores a little bit differently, so you're trying to be mindful of what goes where and how you want to place them versus where you want to get them into onto the various players' grids. It was interesting. I could see myself enjoying this more if I grokked it a bit more. As it is, I still had fun. I'd still give it a 3 out of 5, but I didn't feel the need to go back to it. Then we have over here, let me just jump to the next one over here, we have Kingscraft. Kingscraft is interesting. Kingscraft, I'll give it a 3. This is tricky. So Kingscraft is gonna get a bit of an asterisk for me, okay? I'm gonna give it a 3, so I should actually look into it. Standard and order, yeah, I'll give it a 3.5. I'm going to give it a 3.5, partially based off of the things that are variable. So Kingscraft was an interesting game, kind of remind me of Kingsburg to a degree, where basically you're trying to power up your character, gathering various stuff, facing off against monsters, leveling up who you can fight off against in order to defeat the king or queen at the very end of it. There's definitely luck as far as the dice rolling. I enjoy the building up of my character. My biggest issue is I would never want to play the same game twice. So if they had more goods, and this is where I don't know what the final game has. The game, it looks like it has variable orders. Like if I scroll down to their settings over here, it looks like you can do a setup of the different forge as far as how that works, so that would be more interesting already because it's a bit more variable. But realistically speaking, in order for this to be an interesting game for me, you'd have to have the various pieces of gear changing every single game. Like if I only saw 30% of the types of gear in a game and it was mixed up a lot more, that would be more interesting because you have to figure out how to work on your build based on that. But right now, even with a mixed up order, it's a bit too procedural, and the fact that you have these wild cards in the game, The wildcards buy you a lot of flexibility, and I understand why they exist, but they remove a lot of the proper chaining decisions you would need to make otherwise. Again, this would make a lot more sense if you know how to play the game, but there's a lot of chaining as far as how you build your characters, but then you also just have wildcards, and that changes it takes all the bite out of how you have to order things. And so even if you rearrange the forge, because of the wildcards, that feels less interesting. So I did genuinely enjoy my experience. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of here. I enjoyed my experience. My biggest thing was I don't feel the need to play it again unless things were shifted up. So there are ways to make this a game that I'd happily dive into again. My first play was a 3.5. I think subsequent plays would lower that opinion, but 3.5 right now. And you find the next tab over here is Kokeshi. Kokeshi was interesting. I'm not convinced there's a strong game here, but I actually played this one twice because I kind of wanted to see more of it, and I enjoyed it. You're basically moving up these ranks, and ultimately everything you move up causes something else to move up until you eventually fall off your tower and then put a new token down so that your tower gets stronger and better. So you're kind of ultimately trying to find the tiles that do multiple things, because if a tile does one thing, there's not actually a lot of interesting decisions as far as you're just choosing what cascades upwards. It's when you find those tiles that give you animal movement and going up the tower or something like that, that's where you're trying to actually take advantage of the engine. At the end of the day, it's fine, it's fun, I had fun with it. I'm gonna give it a 3.5, but the biggest complaint I will say is that when someone's ahead, it's pretty clear that they're ahead, and it's pretty clear you're not going to catch up, and now you just have to play the rest of the game, even though that person is almost certainly winning. So I enjoyed it, I had fun with it, definitely give it a shot, but a 3.5 out of 5. Then we have over here, we have Burgle Bros. Burgle Bros is one that I have played a long time ago. In fact, there's one more that we get into as well. I played this way back in the day. I don't remember much about it. I don't even remember which version I played. There's 3 versions of the game. I don't even know which version this is. I played the original game way back when. I finally dove into some BoardGameArena because I was like, I'll try it out. Played it a few times. I enjoyed it. It's fun. It didn't wow me. It's a 3.5 out of 5. At first I was like, do I want to seek out the game and pick it up because of this? But then I was like, you know what? No, this is one of those many games that I enjoy, but realistically speaking, it's easier to play a game like this on BGA than to choose it over something else in my collection. So Burgle Bros, I liked it. Again, it's the first one on this list that I have played prior to diving into on BGA, but I don't anticipate getting it again. It was me diving into it, I don't know, 7 years later. We have My Shelfie, the dice game. Kind of fun. I like this more than My Shelfie. It's basically just rolling dice and trying to cross off rows and columns to get things, but there is some fast-paced, interesting decision space. It's going to get a 3.5 out of 5. In fact, I think one game gets a 4 here. One, maybe. We'll see. But My Shelfie, 3.5 out of 5. I had fun. It's quick. It's easy. I might even own this at some point because of how quick and easy it is. You just, again, you roll dice, you cross stuff off, you get points. It's very straightforward. It's kind of based off of My Shelfie, but very, very different. I don't really see a strong comparison between the two, but I like the column and row scoring where you cross things off, so there's a bit of a race there, and the decision space as far as whether you go for the big, long, 5 of a kind, or whether you quickly, rapidly fill things off so that other players can't get stuff. Overall, I played this one a few times. I liked it. It's good. It's My Shelfie, the dice game. Then we have Pioneer Days. Again, this is the other one that I played a long time ago. I played Pioneer Days. Don't remember much about it. I just remember that I dove into it. I was like, yeah, I played this game. I remember playing this. Designed by Matthew Dunstan and Chris Marling. It's basically you draft dice to get various things. The things you get are either the item for the dice, the amount of money, or a character that's underneath that die. But you're going through a journey. I think it's 5 days per week and 4 weeks, if I recall correctly. I played this several times on BGA, and then once way back when, so feel free to call this one a full review or not, but without the actual how to play. But I enjoyed the building up. You have these disasters that are happening based on the dice you don't draft. There's disasters, so a lot of mitigation around that. That could be a little less fun at times, depending on how you're able to plan or prep for it. But overall, there's a puzzle as far as how to get resources, build up your characters, draft the right dice, and power up your tableau and all of that, so that you get what you so that you win the game. I enjoyed it. Don't need to own it, but I could see myself diving back to it for sure on BGA as well. And then lastly, my favorite is going to be Roll and Bump. I really like Roll and Bump. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. It's fun. It's charming. It's stupid. This is like Flip 7 in the sense that there's not really a strong game here. You roll dice, you draft cards, but there is a bit of a puzzle as far as how you want to take cards for yourself versus how you want to deny other players. Although if you're playing 2 players, you want to play denial. If you're playing more than that, you don't want to play denial. You just want to do your own thing. But the simple Yahtzee-based drafting system, the same way I took a look at the rules for Flip 7 and then said, this is not really a game. This is kind of just very, this has been done before a million different ways, and yet Flip 7 kind of works as far as what it's doing. Roll and Bump is similar. I learned how to play it. I was like, this is not interesting at all. I don't understand why this is fun, but it's simple. It's straightforward. You roll dice, you assign them to cards. You could get bumped off those cards, and you're trying to build up your pool of cards and get the cards that are worth the most points. And there's a challenge between that, even because you get sets of colors, you get points as well. So going for that 9-point card sometimes is not as good as getting that like 5th blue card. You have to make those decisions in the balance, and you also have to base it around what's more likely to get bumped by other players. It's fast, it's easy, this is 100% one I'll be diving into again. It's just that kind of stupid, simple fun. Those are your 17 Board Game Arena reviews. I don't think we got as high as we did last time in sense of overall ratings. Like, Leaders was my favorite from last time. Really enjoyed that one. Still haven't gotten a physical copy, but absolutely plan on doing so. But Roll and Bump is fun, simple, charming, and I should go ahead and get myself a physical copy of this one because it was that kind of fun. We'll be back in another 4 or 5 months with another 17 Board Game Arena reviews. Once I've gotten it, I already have, I think, the next 4 under my belt. I just happen to get to this video now, so I dive into random Board Game Arena games whenever they show up, and eventually I get to 17, which is the magical number for this video because incidentally it happened to be the number for the first video. In any case, and until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you found this useful in some way, and as always, I hope you have a good one.